Hey, hi, and hello, and welcome back to the Celluloid Crypt, my darling dear ghouls. I am your host with the silent G, your ghoul friend, Helena Handbasket, and this is the place where I talk to my hot friends about their favorite movies, particularly horror films. Tonight, I get to yap with my special guest, my dearest brother in crime and anarchy, the one and only Laura Tutu.
Hello, friends and fiends.
Fanfare, fanfare. Before we introduce tonight's film, I just want to give a couple little shout outs. Tonight's music is brought to you by both Carl Casey and Tim over at tabletopaudio.com. The links are in chat. Do go check them out. They do excellent work. If you would like to ask us a question, just type !ask. I believe it's !ask, not question. Followed by a space and your question, so it'll get highlighted, and then our dear producer Bleak will pass those questions on along to me. We will definitely open up questions at the kind of more towards the end, but feel free to jump in and interject if we're talking about something that you have a burning question about. As always, thank you to our lovely mods, Raven and Varl, and to our dear Bleak Season for producing this big bad show tonight. Sweet friend Laura, what are we talking about tonight?
Tato, I'm so glad you asked. We are discussing my favorite movie, honestly, of the past decade. Nothing other than Ryan Coogler's cultural classic, Sinners.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm sweating profusely. I've had so many people message me being like, I can't wait for you guys to talk about this. This is going to be great. And yes, it is. We're going to have a ton to talk about. As I had texted you before, a lot of my notes on this conversation are like, one word, discuss.
Discuss.
Which will be my favorite trope.
If there's one thing about me, Kato, I will run my fucking mouth.
Yeah, and we will run our mouths together. And that is my favorite activity. I have a couple questions that I always like to ask our guests when we first come on here. For you in particular, I know this is a loaded question, but what do you love about this film? I know.
How much fucking time do we have?
We have roughly 2 hours. So
Here's the thing. Sinners is not just a horror movie. It is a horror movie. It's not just a horror movie. Sinners is not just a vampire movie. It's a vampire movie. It's not just a vampire movie.
Mm-hmm.
Sinners is a cultural touchstone that I fully believe 110%, 10 toes fucking down. I will scream this until I'm blue in the face. It is the kind of movie that will be talked about in film classes, in acting classes for the next 25 years. Like, if I don't see it on the AFI top 100 films, there is no justice in this world.
Correct. You are right. And we definitely will talk about award season. I'd love to put it more towards the end because I know there's definitely some thoughts and feelings. But yeah, we'll definitely touch on that. But first, what makes you curious about this film? What sparks your curiosity regarding this film?
Honestly, I mean, I just love Ryan Coogler first and foremost. I love Ryan Coogler. I love Michael B. Jordan. They are a powerhouse together, creatively, spiritually. I don't fucking know. Everything that they've done together so far has been solid gold. But the thing that caught me first and foremost, because I think I was initially hesitant on this film, and I couldn't have told you why. I love Ryan. I love Michael B. I think it was very much like the before Ryan really got into the ad season of it all. Mm-hmm. We were getting all of that back chat that folks like to do specifically for Black movies, where it's like, it's not going to be that good. That's just sort of the baseline that we get. But then I saw a video of Ryan Coogler breaking down the aspect ratios and the different kinds of film that he used specifically for the movie in a way that was like a 5-minute masterclass. Just on fucking YouTube.
Wow.
And that amount of passion, that desire to tell this specific story in this specific way, I was hooked. I was like, yeah, no, I'm seeing this. I've seen it like 3 times. I saw it 6 times in theaters.
I think I saw it 3 or 4, and then I was like, that wasn't enough. Help me. And then it all started coming back into theaters. I was like, oh shit, got to get going. Yeah, I unsurprisingly listen to a lot of horror storytelling podcasts. And like Bloody Disgusting and Fangoria and all of the like publications that do horror movies have their own little like ad subsets that they do, and those were inserted into the podcast, and that was how I first learned about the movie. And the ads, like the just the copy did not do it justice at all.
No.
And I was like, this sounds interesting, but like they completely buried the lead about like what this film was going to be. And like in a way I'm kind of pleasant is the wrong word. I am overwhelmingly delighted.
Yeah. I like there was no way to emotionally prepare me for that movie. And we can get into that if you've got further. I'm sure you're going to make me get into that later, but I was not emotionally prepared for any of that.
I have so many notes, and all of them are going to get you right in the feelings. Let's talk about this opening shot. Let's talk about that opening shot. It's like with Sammy pulling up, covered in blood, holding a guitar neck, arriving at his father's what we assume is his father's church based off of the reactions of the family, is such a great story hook, especially after the narration at the beginning from Annie regarding music and the magic behind music, like the true actual magic behind it. That was like, obviously it was intended that way. It grabbed me in that moment. How were you feeling when you saw that opening scene?
Honestly, I mean, if we go back even further than that, the prologue with that beautiful art, that like woodcut style shot for shot, where you are hearing each individual piece of music as each culture is specifically mentioned. Set, done and dusted. That's it. That's all I needed to know. Take my money. There's so like, even it's been a year actually. I don't know if you knew that. It's almost a year to the day that Sinners came out. I think it was like 2 days ago, something like that.
Wow. Okay, great timing.
Great timing. Even to this day, there's still people who are going back and rewatching and picking that apart, because there's a moment where Sammy pulls up, and behind him is a horse cart with a man in like white linen with a white horse just sitting at the crossroads.
Damn.
And lo came a pale horse.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But getting further into that scene, you see this moment where Sammy walks into this church, this place that is supposed to be refuge, because it was refuge for folks in that time period, specifically Black folks in that time period. That is what we had. He walks in covered in blood, visibly injured. And his father doesn't ask if he's okay once.
Yeah.
Not once.
Right.
Immediately using his son as an example for the dangers of sin. And those moments where you flash between Preacher Jed and our villain, you cannot walk away from those parallels. Both are seeking to take something from Sammy that is integral to who he is as a person.
Yeah. Right. And arguably, what is causing more damage at the end of the day? We'll keep talking about it. I think that's actually a really good segue to my next question, which is, who do you think are the sinners in this film?
They all are. Every last one of them. Even the pastor, he is prideful. Stack is lustful and greedy. Smoke is full of wrath like no one's ever seen. Mary and Pearline are both adulteresses.
Mm-hmm.
And Sammy does not honor his father.
Which I think is so interesting because you were bringing up 7 deadly sins, and then there are also the biblical kind of not the cardinal sins, I guess. I was not raised religious, so this is actually really interesting.
I was.
I'm interested from an academic standpoint, but that's like truly my exposure to religion is through that lens. So like you were mentioning the 7 deadly sins, and then you had the biblical ones. Do you think there's one of the 7 deadly sins that Sammy is guilty most of?
You could say gluttony, for wanting everything that is meant to be dark and evil, at least according to his father and his family.
Mm-hmm.
You could say envy for coveting another man's wife. You could say lust, again, for coveting another man's wife. But it's everyone in that movie is marked by sin.
Mm-hmm.
All of them, every last one of them. And there's a subset of folks, specifically Black folks, that I have seen talking about it in a way that is like, you see, he came back to the church. It's the power of Christ. It's the power of God. Guys, did you stop watching the movie?
Did we watch the same movie?
Did we watch the same movie? But it's that overarching ideal that, like, ain't none of them perfect. Ain't none of them gonna be perfect.
Right. But
it makes them full, real, complete characters, complete humans, in a way that Ryan Coogler is always spectacular with.
Yeah. What a genius man. We've talked a lot so far in the short period of time we've been yapping, but we've talked a lot about just how this is you mentioned cultural touchstone. What makes this film so revolutionary? Why is this film something that should be taught in film classes beyond the cinematography and the art of it? Tell me from your viewpoint, what makes this film so revolutionary?
Well, first and foremost, someone in the chat mentioned that Coogler is going to be retaining ownership of this movie in a way that no one has previously.
I just love that.
I love it, and honestly, it's part of why people were so up in arms about it, at least in Hollywood, because that shit scares the hell out of the studios.
It sure do. Do.
But Sinners was one of the first movies that I saw that did not immediately cater to the white gaze. There were things that, as a white person, you're just not going to understand. And Ryan's like, cool, you're along for the ride, but I'm not going to explain it to you. And you best make peace with that. For me specifically, and it's kind of amazing that we're doing this now because I just helped my dad celebrate his 92nd birthday.
Wow.
One of my uncles has been going through our family history, and I discovered that my father is the son of sharecroppers. My grandparents were sharecroppers. My great grandparents were enslaved.
Wow.
And it's watching that bit of history that has woven through so many of us in the Black community, knowing that in spite of what history and media and the general nonsense of the United States tells us, it's not that long ago. It's really not. It's maybe 2 generations for me. Maybe.
Right.
And it carries it through in a way that is just awe-inspiring.
Yeah. I was thinking about what you were saying about it not catering to the white gaze, which I think I personally cannot think of a film that has been this like popular and successful that has done that, and with the intention of this is what I'm doing and y'all are along for the ride, but this isn't for you. and the phrase like y'all are invited, but you got to act right.
Yeah. There's no white savior. There's no good white person that comes in to save the day at the end. At the end of the day, all we got is us.
Right. Exactly. Amazing. I guess that you sort of answered my next question, but because you gave it through your lens of how it impacts you as Laura and your family history. And my next question was just, why do you think this film is so important to so many people?
Yeah, it's that. Yeah. It's the notion that it connects to a group that, while we are marginalized, we are still somehow, Black folks have been shaping and pushing culture in the United States since we got here. And yet somehow we are the least represented when it comes to cinema, when it comes to music, when it comes to baseline representation. Ryan's not about that life.
Right, exactly, 100%. And there's the line that Delta Slim has in there of that white folks love blues music, but not the people who make it.
They like the blues just fine. They just don't like the people that make it.
Yeah.
We are consumed and stolen from, but never credited.
Do you feel like this film was a means of harnessing that, of taking that back, of reclaiming and celebrate, like full celebration of culture?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know Coogler personally. I don't know what his what his actual personal ideals were behind this movie, but from what I have seen, the reactions that I've seen on the internet, on TikTok, on people talking about it on YouTube, that has been what it is for a lot of the Black community. It is the celebration of us and our culture, which is real interesting because we get into a lot of diaspora wars where folks say that Black Americans don't have culture.
Ooh. Well, there's that. Damn.
About that.
Well, I would beg that this film highlights exactly that. Fucking wild.
You would not have rock and roll without Black folks. You would not have techno without Black folks. Everybody credits Elvis Presley. Absolutely not.
I think this would be a really good time to jump down to a question. Normally, the way I write these questions is I watch the film and I write them chronologically. But I think it would be a really good time to touch on the massive cross-cultural, cross-generational music scene that happens in the Juke when Sammy first starts singing. And it's just this transcendent, supernatural, all the ancestors are there. And we're seeing so many different cultures represented. I sobbed, and
I burst into tears the minute I realized what was happening.
Tell me more about that first time that you saw that scene.
It was like nothing else I'd ever seen in cinema before. And I don't think I had ever personally, as a Black person, as a Black woman, felt seen in that way through the medium of film. It was the ancestors that I am still disconnected with because I don't know where my folks were dragged from on the west coasts of Africa. We're still having trouble finding the people that we have in Mississippi. But in that moment, I was able to see everything that my culture has touched in this fuck-ass country. Everything that we have given or had taken from us, and still being able to celebrate and come together in a way that I personally think only we are able to do.
Absolutely. What do you think the intention behind the fact that while that scene is happening, we see this ember go up into the sky and the barn starts burning? Aside from
burning down the house.
There you go.
You're just burning down the house.
Yeah.
But I think it's the power and the sheer scope of Sammy's music and Sammy's power as a griot just cannot be contained.
Absolutely. And that was a kind of a sub point that I had about this of like Remick is drawn to Sammy. We've got the devil at the crossroads, that whole, we've got like the deal you make with the devil, and it has to do with music. And we see the power in Miles' performance as Sammy, and we see it later as Buddy Guy. Obviously, like we'll talk about that. I'm putting a pin in that.
Oh my God.
Because we need to talk about it. Like, I know why. There are a lot of things that I have my own answer of why. I want to hear, what does Sammy represent for you, and what do you think the intended representation of Sammy is, and why Remick must have him, and what would happen if Remick were to have that power?
First and foremost, I'm going to kind of do a swing around the horn to get there.
100%.
I fully believe in my heart of hearts, again, 10 toes down to this, Remick was like Sammy when he was still human.
Ooh.
I'm going to go back to the prologue, the moment where we hear about the Fili. The song that plays in the background is the song that Remick sings later. And I'm like 80% sure that is Jack O'Connell's voice.
Wow. His voice is incredible. Oof.
He's amazing. I love him.
Musicians in this are so great.
Spectacular actor.
I have chills right now.
But it is that desperation to reclaim any sort of culture in a way that speaks to the white American experience.
Please keep going.
Because in order to claim some sort of safety in coming to America, you had to give up your culture. You didn't get to be Irish anymore. You had to be white. You didn't get to be Italian anymore. You had to be white. And that was the promise of safety at the expense of your own cultural touchstones and at the expense of your own soul, truly.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean, Sammy is that last bit of joy and culture that I think probably one of the only things that Remick has seen in that light in a long time. I am like 99.9% sure the reason he's running from the Choctaw is because he tried that shit and they saw through him like that. So that's why they ran him out of town.
We're like,
boy, if you don't get,
go on, get.
Go on, get.
Go ahead.
But yeah, it's Remick is so desperate for any sort of a culture, anything to either reconnect him to what he has lost or something to bring him back into the material plane outside of this body that his soul is trapped in. And sure, he can bring everyone together in some sort of approximation of fellowship and love, but at what cost? That would cut Sammy off from his ancestors. That would mean that what Remick wants would no longer be within his grasp.
Right.
Because Sammy would lose his power the same way Remick did.
Right.
But he's been at it for, I would bet good money that Remick is at least 900, if not 1,000 years old.
Ooh.
Given what he talks about, he discusses the Catholics coming in and stealing his father's land.
Yeah.
So probably one of the first attempts at the English or the Anglo-Saxons to overtake Ireland.
Yeah. I have that note here as well of the colonization of Ireland and Remick's story in the pond at the end of the battle. Someone in the chat just now had mentioned the Dayrek mentioned Remick telling Sammy that the prayer he's reciting is passed down through to his people as well.
Yeah, I hate the man that forced those words on me, but the words still give me comfort.
What do you feel the note I have here is just Black American culture, and that's this through line, this huge storyline that's juxtaposed with Remick and this Irish storyline. We're talking a bit about it now, but just kind of expanding more on that. Again, fewer questions, more talking points.
Point, discuss. I mean, it's Delta Slim said it. People like the blues just fine. They just don't like the people that make it. We have given so much to American culture through our music, through our food, through our fashion, and it is something that people will take and turn. I'll give you gold hoop earrings, bamboo hoop earrings. It's ghetto, it's ratchet, it's trashy, but suddenly white girls put it on and it's classy. Mm-hmm. It's luxury. Mm-hmm. The clean girl aesthetic, with the brown lip liner and the clear gloss. That's something that I saw girls wearing when I was in high school.
Right.
It's the notion that if we can't have it, we'll take it anyway.
Right.
And we will make sure that nothing points back to you.
Yeah. And sterilize it?
Sterilize it, yeah. I mean, you see it all the time in the music industry. Yeah. You'll see pop stars who have like their rebellious phase, and it's just them dipping their toe into R&B, mm-hmm. or like hip hop.
Yeah.
Suddenly Ariana Grande is like 4 shades darker with her slick back pony and her giant gold hoops.
And they're like, this is her signature look. I'm like, that is a white girl.
I knew bitches who were wearing slick backs and hoop earrings at 14. Pipe down, variety.
Y'all need to sit. Y'all need to sit.
Constantly, all the goddamn time. Mm-hmm. The Asian community is consistently bombarded with the idea of the model minority, and the closer you are to whiteness, the more protected you'll be, the more status you'll have, which is bullshit. We all know that,
right?
But it's that line that you have to play, especially in that time period. You watch the when Smoke goes to the shop. You watch him get Lisa to go get your mama, and she walks from the black side of the street. She crosses the street, and mom is running the white half of the store.
Yeah,
right. It's the ability to straddle both lines, and it's interesting. I'm not gonna speak too much about that perspective. If you want that, you should talk to Chinese American folks,
100%,
the Asian community. But oof.
I thought it was really interesting that Coogler chose to do a tracking shot behind Lisa so we could see her POV as well, because the exterior of the black side of the street also has the tamale shop is right mm-hmm. next to it. There are all of the like other cultures that aren't white, and then you see this swarm of white folks right outside that grocery store. It's fucking fascinating. And talking about this kind of, don't want to use the phrase white culture, but white society, let's call it that. There is, I'm jumping all over the map, but there's a lot of stuff that's kind of churning up my brain right now. But this idea of politeness, like,
oh my God,
we have this concept in vampire lore that vampires have to be invited in. But something that struck me in this rewatch last night was specifically the scene where we all know Cornbread has been turned because he's asking to come in. But he's talking about how we've all lost the plot and we forgot that this is actually about
being kind to one another.
One another, right? That idea, I thought that was so fucking brilliant, of the like vampiric need to be invited in, framed through politeness and this like white politeness concept. That hit me like a fucking bullet train yesterday when I rewatched.
Fucking wild
shit.
Because I am black. My mother was white. I was raised in the Midwest, and if there's one thing about Midwestern folks, they are going to be unfailingly polite. They are never going to speak on their minds, because it is more important to keep the peace than to correct a wrong or to salvage a hurt. Peace and quiet is everything to white society. It does not matter what kind of harm has been done. You just don't talk about it. If you don't talk about it, it's fine, because it's not polite to bring up difficult subjects.
Right. And also the idea of politeness in Southern culture. I am not from the South, I'm from the Southwest, but the idea of the bless your heart, and also
bless your heart.
but also like, what harm is there in being impolite to correct the wrong? You know, what is the actual harm truly, aside from what was superimposed by white culture?
I mean, if you want to dive into it, the pillars of white supremacy, one of them includes the right to comfort. I don't know how many times I have encountered white folks out in the wild who, when you say something as simple as, hey, this thing you did hurt me, or that thing you said, racist, they don't hear I did a racist thing. They hear you are a racist and you are a bad person.
Right.
Which, not what I said at all, first and foremost. You're hearing what you want to hear. Don't put words in my mouth. But it's that idea of, it is more important to not call someone racist than it is to address the racist thing that was said. I will always be willing, if I am bringing these things up to you, it's because I value the relationship that we have.
Right.
If I didn't give a shit, I wouldn't say anything.
Right.
And that's...
Fuck with that person.
I don't fucking fuck with that person.
I saw an interesting thing on Instagram that was pertaining to this idea of like, when the injured party then has to apologize for hurting the feelings of the person who did the injury, and that's what this smacks of.
That's exactly what that smacks of, and it's Torben, you're absolutely right. It's an actual affront to bring up unpleasantness. Because, I mean, we all know how delicate and fragile white supremacy culture is.
Sure fucking is. I'm fascinated to continue down this train of thought, turning to the character of Mary. How she is white passing, and the black side of her family, like, when they know that it's little Mary, she's grown, she's invited into the juke, and yet she also is the one who goes out and speaks to Remick and Joan and Bert. She's kind of living in this like dual world, and the fact that she is the one who is first turned, and that she instigates the entire thing, or is the receptacle of that instigation. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, Mary, she makes it plain she never wanted to be white, but because of how she looks and because of the time period and the idea of the one drop rule, it was either that or her life would have been difficult to a degree that like we no longer really understand. It was an aspect of safety, but at the end of the day, the safety of whiteness was not enough to save her. And I think that's a lesson for anybody who's still clinging to the idea that proximity to whiteness will save you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like the phrase, the leopards getting eating your face.
Yeah, you voted for the leopards eating your face party, and now you're shocked that the leopards are eating your face. I don't know what to tell you, babe.
I don't know what to tell you, truly.
I don't know what to tell you, baby.
Thanks, Bleak, for putting in the chat command. There is the ask command. So if you have questions for us as we're going along, we're kind of going all over the place with this, which is fucking great and my favorite thing. So feel free to chime in, ask. Bleak is going to be funneling some questions towards me, so please feel free to do that. And thank you. I believe we got a tip from Black Sun Gaming. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Very nice of you.
And yeah, Torben, you're absolutely right. In places like South Africa, being mixed would have you shunned on either side. Well, and like even me, like I present as black. You are not going to look at me and not think I am black. But because of how I was raised, and I love my father, but there is definitely a level of anti-blackness that he grew up with because I think he has trauma from growing up in Mississippi during fucking Jim Crow. So that's understandable.
Yep.
I was raised in a way that most people would consider to be white. Phrase that got thrown around a lot when I was growing up was Oreo.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's
people calling you that?
Oh yeah, all the time. Right. All the goddamn time.
Right.
But it's the notion of not being enough for either side. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we see that with Mary, who's going to have potentially an easier time because she can just disappear into white society. But again, like Remick, that means she is giving everything up.
Right. Ooh, that is a great parallel to draw, and what they are trying to take from Sammy in taking his soul, and the conversation that Annie's character talks about with the soul is stuck, that it can't go on, it can't meet the ancestors, it just goes through its existence pining.
It is trapped in the body and festers.
I think it's really interesting. I'm glad that you drew that parallel with Mary's character. I'd love to talk more about some of these characters. Let's talk about Annie. Let's discuss Annie.
Wumi Masako is perfect and can do no wrong.
Yes, 100%. Fully agree. Literally, the note says, discuss. Go ahead.
It's, well, first and foremost, one of my favorite things is the fact that Wumi herself has talked about how stepping into this role and learning hoodoo, like learning the ins and outs of hoodoo culture, and specifically Black South American hoodoo. Hoodoo and voodoo are different things, guys, by the by. Both are close practices. You should not be touching hoodoo unless you are an ancestor of Black American descent. You can certainly try. You're not going to like what happens.
It's not going to be good for you.
It's not going to be good for you. But she specifically talked about how she felt sort of an opening up in herself as she stepped into this role, as she learned more about hoodoo, as she learned more about Black American culture. And Annie as a character, in any other movie, the minute she started talking about vampires, everyone else would have been like, you're out of your goddamn mind. But they know Annie as the conjure woman. They know her as the community healer. They know her as the myth keeper. So they defer to her immediately. And without question.
Right. And it is a full belief, no matter what she asks, of the eating the raw garlic. We need wood. We need silver. All of these things that she's like, this is not a haint. This is something else. It's a vampire. You know, she
it's worse.
Knows it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna Pearline was whack for hesitating like that, but I wouldn't have wanted to chew on raw garlic either. That shit's rough.
I wouldn't either. You know, they do that on Dragula where they make them eat a head of raw garlic.
I love garlic. I can't do that.
No, not for me. Thank you.
Not for me.
It's too hot in my mouth. That was dumb. But so there's There's two things that I want to touch on regarding Annie specifically. One of which is like this idea in horror where there is very frequently a character, whether that be someone who is like part of the protagonist team, protagonists themselves, or some random character that the protagonist encounters that is the knowledge keeper, that is like, this is what this thing is. And very often it is shoehorned in as a trope. But I feel like Coogler very masterfully not even wove her into it, but she's so integral to the story because of her knowledge.
She starts the fucking movie.
Right, exactly. And she is the one who is smart enough to know that if she gets bitten, she needs to be taken out immediately because she does not want to have that existence even for a moment.
That scene with Smoke and Annie when he comes to find her.
Ugh.
First of all, the background scoring, Ludwig Göransson, you masterful motherfucker. That whole scene, one of the most beautiful, tender, heartbreaking things that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Annie's quiet, calm strength. And I mean, the idea that she is a dark-skinned black woman who is has a broader build and is still desirable. That's apparently revolutionary in and of itself.
Right.
But her knowledge, no matter how Smoke tries to deny it, like he tries to poo-poo it and shunt it off. It's like the only power is money. The only power is it's money and those who are smart enough to take it.
Right.
And I think the first moment where we see Annie really step in and show her power is when she tells him, I prayed for you and that crazy brother of yours. And the film itself lends gravity to that because you can hear this rushing of wind in the background. If you are watching Annie, you see that the scene around her starts to blur and focus in on her face as if her words and her magic are immediately affecting the world around them.
And when he takes the mojo bag off at the end and is like, this is the moment where I'm rejoining my family.
Yeah, because that was what she made it abundantly clear that mojo bag had been protecting him throughout the war, throughout his time in Chicago, which is another thing that we need to bring up because holy shit, those twins are brilliant.
Yep.
But she made it abundantly clear that mojo bag had been keeping him safe through the war, through his time in Chicago, through everything that him and fucking Stack got into. And the moment he takes it off, you know that's the moment where he's done. He's ready to go because he knows he's not going to survive without her.
Absolutely. And he's resolved of what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point when I could go be with her? Because she said she had someone waiting on the other side and that she'll be waiting for him too. And she was right. She is always right.
And the thing that kills me the most is Smoke asks a very simple question after she tells him, I prayed and worked every route that my grandmama taught me to keep that crazy brother of yours and you safe. Then why didn't that magic work on our baby? And she says simply, I don't know.
Right.
And I love that caveat because you can have access to those magics. You can have access to those abilities. It's not going to fix everything. There are things that will be past you, that will be above you.
Right.
And it's such a simple, quiet answer.
And there's the moment where Smoke says about Stack, like, do you have a mojo bag that can bring him back? Is there magic that you have that can bring him back? It's like, at a certain point.
No.
Right.
She has magic. She has her root work. She is not all powerful. And I think that was a good guardrail. That was a really like narratively, that was a really interesting way to set out the parameters of the magic in that world.
Yeah, to set the the universe itself. I think it also speaks to the idea of, you know, death is a full transition, and here is Remick coming in, never fully having transitioned through death, and never now being able to transition through death.
You want something else fucked up?
Please.
Mary, when she comes into the juke joint and is talking to Sammy at the bar, is talking about how her family knew the Moors, knew Elijah Elias, and her mother was the one that delivered them. Stack, she says, got stuck on the way out and got stuck again in the transition out of the world. There's something just beautifully cyclical about that.
Yeah.
He gets stuck as a child being born and gets stuck in his body when he makes the transition into being a vampire.
Yeah. Bleak just pulled up the image of the twins here on our Twitch page. Thank you, Bleak. Let's talk about Michael B. Jordan. Let's talk about Smoke and Stack. We gotta unpack it all. Holy fuck.
Put some respect on that name. Oscar award-winning actor Michael B. Jordan.
Thank you very much. I stand corrected.
Excuse you. First of all, from a cinematography standpoint, having an actor hand themselves a cigarette is fucking wild work.
As the first shot we see
in a single shot.
Good.
Wild work.
Damn. Wow.
Wild work.
In daylight.
In full daylight. There's no switch off. It's not the back of somebody's head and then Michael's face. He is standing side by side with himself.
With himself.
That bastard is so good. I forgot that he was playing two people.
Me too.
Multiple times. So many times. I'm like, where did they get this other guy? Laura, you're fucking stupid.
And just... we talk about it so much in your theater background, in my theater school as well, of like distinguishing characters without diving into caricature. And he built two fully realized identical twins that have wildly different personalities and wildly different goals in life. Yet,
I mean, you can see it in their faces here.
Right there.
You can see the dark, like brooding nature that is Smoke and that like wildfire, like manic spark that is Stack.
I feel so many things about it. There's just the fact that their story, obviously they're twins, but the storyline is interwoven. They have such distinctly different personalities, but that idea that this concept, almost supernatural, almost ethereal, magical concept around specifically identical twins. Oh yeah. And how they are so in sync, and like when they're buying the old sawmill and like the language, like they have been doing this for so long, which is how they were able to get far in Chicago and then able to pull off what they pulled off coming out of Chicago.
It's the thing that got me, like the moment where you realize how linked these two are is when we're not sure if old boss Hogwood is going to walk out of there alive. Because you see Smoke reaching for a gun and Stack has that knife on his belt, and they just slowly, carefully begin to close in. It's like, oh, you're dead, man.
Yeah.
You're fucking dead. Listen, Cracker.
Oh, how things come so full circle.
So full circle.
Do you have a favorite moment with Jordan as Smoke and Jordan as Stack?
The Smoke, for me, the moment that made me fall in love with Smoke as a character is the moment where he's at the store and he asks that little girl to watch the truck for him. He's like, I'll pay you 10 cents for every minute. And when she agrees, he tells her, no, we're talking numbers and we have to be in conversation. He teaches this girl how to barter and stand up for herself.
Yeah.
So that was perfect. And Stack,
That man.
Nah, fool, it's Jim Crow. Such a good line.
He just, the delivery for both characters, but particularly that like firecracker wit that you get from Stack. I think specifically,
no vision.
I feel like a conversation around the sex and the sexual energy in this film would be fabulous.
Oh my God.
When he specifically is talking to Sammy about cunnilingus in the car. And it was like,
you absolute slut.
I was sitting in my chair blushing, being like, oh my God.
Mr. Kugler?
Hello.
Ryan, I have a question, and it's none of my business, but if I had two nickels. I have two nickels. Like, you know what? Good for you, Ryan. And congratulations, Mrs. Kugler. That's all I'm gonna say. Congratulations. That man loves his fucking wife.
Yes, he do.
That man loves his fucking wife.
When he and Mary are fucking in the storage shed, and he goes, "Baby, you're drooling," and she goes,
"You want some?"
And I'm like,
"You are whipped. You are whipped, sir.
Oh
you may be an actual gangsta, but that woman has you wrapped around her fucking pinky."
Yeah. We know who's in charge. 100%. But
and their whole exchange at the train station when we first see them encounter one another. Mwah. Perfect. No notes. Because you told me you loved me.
Do you? The answer is no. But do you think any other actor could have pulled off the performance in the way that it needed to be told for the storytelling, for this story?
Chadwick.
Hell yeah.
Chadwick Boseman was the only other person who could have pulled that shit off.
Yeah.
Without question. God rest his soul.
Yeah, truly, R.I.P. Fuck. Are there other thoughts, feelings, things you want to bring up about Michael B. Jordan's performance, about the character, those two characters in particular, the choices they make, things that come to mind that you're like, oh?
It's the way that while they are so in sync, they are like, he was able to pull off three distinct personalities, because you have Smoke, you have Stack, and then you have Stack once he becomes a vampire. It's kind of like, it reminded me of how vampirism works in Vampire the Masquerade. It's that moment, the moment you are embraced freezes you in time, and all of your worst qualities calcify. You've got that impulsiveness, that violent nature that he seems to have, because he's the one that's willing to jump to violence so quickly.
As I was watching, on this time around, I was thinking of that, like, jumping to violence right away for Stack, but how they're both lethal, but just how deadly Smoke is as a character.
He took out the clan.
Yeah. I do have a note here at the end that says, after everything Smoke has gone through, he has to deal with the fucking clan.
Remick was the monster, but it's like they said, it was a killing field. They were set up from the jump. Even if they had survived Remick, the clan was going to try to wipe them out anyway.
And yet, that doesn't fucking happen. No.
Because like, it's like Smoke said, I'm a soldier boy.
Right.
I will, like, my favorite shot will always be the hero shot of Michael B. with that fucking machine gun just walking out of the mangroves. That's a goddamn hero shot, that is.
Oh my God. It's that, and when they're standing in the pond together, those two, Sammy and Smoke. Oh, fuck. God damn. Let's chat a little bit about our man Delta Slim. Woo! What a man.
I'm gonna start crying if I think about it too hard.
Yeah.
First and foremost, Delroy Lindo has been robbed.
Yep.
What, like, how long has he been in the business for? Like, how many decades at this point?
3, 4?
Yeah, like 40-year veteran actor. Everything he has done has a gravitas that I don't think anyone else could pull off, even with Delta Slim being kind of a jokester character. Because when he's he and ha ha and it's great, it's funny, but when he hits with lines like about the blues or the story about his buddy Rice, it's like getting hit by a truck.
Right.
And we're getting a little dark here. Alcoholism runs in my family. Full stop. His voice, that like raspy, like torn up vocal cords from drinking and throwing up and making himself sick. There's so many men in my family who sound just like that man. And to that point, there are so many men in my family who have had that exact same reaction to pain and trauma that Delta Slim did in the car.
Right.
Where he starts slapping his leg and moaning in pain, and he turns that pain into a song. Right. I have seen men in my family do that over and over again. And that fucking broke me.
Wow.
That moment absolutely broke me.
Wow.
And that's the cultural touchstone to bring it back around. I have never had a connection to a character, to a set of characters like this that I have with Sinners.
Right. Thank you thank you always for going there, but I mean, you're unpacking a lot of incredible stuff, and it's giving me chills, admittedly. Let's talk about Perlene. Our girl Perlene.
My girl. Jamie fucking Lawson. If they don't bring that girl in to play Storm at some point, I'm going to burn Marvel Studios to the ground.
I will join you.
Put that bitch in a white wig right now.
Right
fucking now. She's beautiful. She is spectacular. She has like a charisma the likes of which I haven't seen in an actress in a long time. I think in the script specifically, there's somewhere on the internet, they have the full fucking script. You guys need to go find it and you need to go read it. It's spectacular. There are things that have obviously changed between what they have given us in the script and what is on the screen, but there's some shit in there that is choice, including but not limited to that moment after she talks with Sammy at the train station and says, "Careful, boy, you're gonna bite off more than you can chew." There's a specific note about the fact that she is walking away with a mean switch in her hips. Because we need to know that Perlene is that bitch.
I love her as a character. I love what she represents. I love her vocal quality, her speaking voice, her singing voice. Fucking phenomenal.
Her vocal, like her speaking voice is so lush and like velvety.
Yes.
It's like there's almost like a buttery quality to it. I could listen to that woman talk all goddamn night.
All goddamn night. And we do get an opportunity to hear her. She gets this beautiful song, Pale Pale Moon.
That I love. It's my favorite song on the soundtrack.
Because it's fucking great. Which is interesting because Perlene is a love interest to Sammy. We know a little bit about her.
She's got a husband somewhere.
Got a fucking husband somewhere, or maybe not. Maybe she just said it. Who knows? What does she represent to you in particular?
I mean, if we're gonna go with the 7 deadly sins, like she's the personification of lust. But again, she's this dark-skinned black woman who is undeniably desirable. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Correct.
she's got like a kind of sexual freedom to her that like culturally we wouldn't see until at least the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got such a magnetism to her. There is no way that you don't want to focus on Perline and on Jamie Lawson when she walks on stage or when she walks onto the screen. She is just so beautiful and so magnetic.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like, yeah, the sheer sexiness. And one of the things I remember distinctly when I was learning about this film and I hadn't seen it yet was they were like, that was such a snapshot of on the trailer of like, or on the promo of the juke joint going fucking nuts and stamping their feet to Pale Pale Moon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching her crawl across the stage and I was like, is she already, I knew it was a vampire film. I was like, is she already turned?
Mm-hmm.
Where is this going to go? And I think it's so fucking fascinating and amazing to highlight the sexuality. You know, we see it in Mary and we see it in Smoke and Stack and Annie and all of that, but to have it really highlighted with Perline and have that be the heightened, beautiful, like celebration of sexual energy rather than it coming from like, oh, vampires are sexy. Cause like,
yeah,
we've all done
yeah,
that.
Perline is just sexy.
Yes.
Full stop.
Yes.
Like I love Mary as a character, fabulous. Haley Steinfeld, wonderful job. There's a moment after she is bitten where she walks back into the juke joint with a sway to her shoulders that is almost cat-like in a way that we haven't seen her walk before. And that like she had to turn it on at that point. Perline just has that.
Yeah, she just had it inherently.
Yeah.
And then I think again back into the storeroom of I walked here and he's like, I just want to taste. And I'm like, Mr. Kugler?
thirsty bastard.
I mean, good for him though, right?
Good for you though. Good for you.
Yes. Absolutely. I'm looking at some of these other notes. I still want to keep talking about some characters. Cornbread. Our boy Cornbread. Sweet man.
Boy, I'm gonna beat the black off of you.
I loved Cornbread for so many reasons. I do think to that scene about like the highlighting of the politeness and the highlighting of like polite society and polite expectation when he like is just quick to like turn and throw shade, like, and I think that also that was just such an indication of character and an indication of change for him.
Oh yeah. Also, like, you didn't have to do him dirty like that. The man's trying to take a piss.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The man's trying to take a piss and you're gonna fucking bite him.
Fellowship and love. Fellowship and love.
Peekaboo. So fucking rude. That's so fucking rude.
I would argue that is the scariest moment in the film. Like,
yeah.
This film doesn't have a lot of scary moments, but that moment I was just like, oh no.
No, the thing that got me is that he's standing there, he's got his dick in his hand, he's taking a piss, and you can hear the whisper, and you see the little fireflies dancing around, and there's that shot of him looking straight onto the camera with the darkness behind him, and then you realize two of those fireflies haven't fucking moved.
Yeah.
Because they're eyeballs.
It's the scariest part of the movie, I think.
Yeah, no, that shit freaked me right out.
It was so funny. So I think it's okay to say, like, when I asked Laura to do this show, I was like, I have a questionnaire that I fill out. And one of the questions is, do you love horror? And you wrote, no.
Absolutely not. I fucking hate horror movies. I don't like being jump scared. I don't like sitting there in terror and suspense. I have anxiety. Why the fuck would I pay someone to make me anxious?
I like a controlled environment for my anxiety. So, of course, yeah, when Tutu said I'm doing Sinners, I was like, bet 100%. And then so many people were fighting with me, being like, but what can I do? I was like, nope, Tutu has Sinners. Sorry. Love you all.
No, I get first dibs. Fuck off.
Speaking of horror, let's talk about some vampires.
Vampires.
Vampires. We've got a very clear that we love vampires over here on Folk and Myth. Laura Tutu does a ton of stuff with VTM, Darkness Emergent, and the World of Darkness. If you don't know this about Laura, I'm hyping Laura up to say like award-winning VTM role player. And let's talk about vampires. We've got Remick. We've already talked about how old he might be. What Vampire the Masquerade clan is Remick to you?
Remick is a Toreador that diablerized a Tzimisce.
Which is like, you said that to me a year ago after I had seen this film, and I said, what clan do you think he is? And you said that to me, and I was like, oh, that's exactly what he is. It's the obsessive Toreador nature when it comes to the music, and the possessive like hoarding that you get from Tzimisce. Also with his weird little fingies and his weird little teefies. That's vicissitude right there. Yeah, this little dragon guy, you know.
His weird little fingies.
Just a little flesh dragon. Hey, Van, welcome in. Sinners is the best ever. Hunter the Reckoning Session 0. There's a moment towards the end of the battle where there's this like hive mind that starts happening. We see it really starting with the rocky road to Dublin. I'm taking us off topic. I'm sorry. Go.
Remick pulled everyone in for Rocky Road to Dublin in direct response to Sammy being able to call down his ancestors. The difference is Sammy was able to naturally call down ancestors past, present, future. Remick was only able to pull that off because he had the hive mind going. Which is terrifying and also sad as hell.
Because he diablerized a Tzimisce.
But that is the... I'm bringing it back around. I keep doing this. I'm not sorry. And that is part of the heartbreak of Remick as a villain. He's a monster. He will kill and take what he wants without apologizing for it because he thinks he deserves it. Does that sound familiar, kids? But you watch him dancing and singing with this group that he has sucked in to his little fellowship. And then you realize that none of that is genuine. They are not dancing and celebrating with him because they have that love and that connection. They are doing it because they have no other choice. It is not their will anymore. It is Remick's will. And that is what Remick wanted in that moment. So he was going to make his little dollies dance.
It's interesting that we have this vampire villain that has... I mean, there's certainly the conversation around, like, we've talked about he's 1,000 years old, arguably even older than that. He has seen a whole lot. He's incredibly powerful, elder vampire, and has the ability to kind of have all of these vampires under his thrall. But I just think it's so fascinating that was the mechanic and the trope that we could put in place to see juxtaposed, as you said, to Sammy's like ability to do that naturally and through culture and connection and community versus this contrived art form. But to frame it through a traditional Irish folk song,
which no, it's not Rocky Road. No, Dublin is. It's the other song they sing.
I'm literally
Wild Mountain Time.
Yes, I'm listening to the soundtrack right now. Yes.
I don't think that's actually an Irish song. That is something that is borrowed from the Scottish. So he's just taking shit.
He's just taking shit that he likes.
He's just taking shit that don't belong to him.
He certainly is. He certainly is. Remick. Okay, so they've got this hive mind at the end, and there's this also hive mind pain. The hive mind pain is so wild to me, of like when the guitar gets smashed and it is through his head and he just goes,
which was a practical effect, by the way.
I love practical so fucking much.
It's a magnetic plate that poor Jack had to have strapped to his head.
God bless, what a champ. And he just screams shit. But he screamed shit in his southern accent, which we know is a mask. We know is not his real voice.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the history nerd coming back, though.
Do it.
If you listen to a side-by-side of Irish and Scottish and listen to accents from Georgia and Mississippi, I've literally heard people on YouTube as that accent shifted, because a lot of folks from Ireland and Scotland ended up in the Delta, in the southern United States, all along Appalachia. There's something about how, like, a lot of the topography and geography in the Appalachian Mountains is very similar to what is found in Scotland and Ireland. So let's talk about that if you want. Yes, on the one hand, it is a mask. He is not actually a white, North Carolina Irishman.
How far? North Carolina.
North Carolina, which makes sense because that is where he would have landed. Yep. But yes, the southern accent is a mask to be able to get closer to people in that area, but it also would have naturally come about depending on how long he'd been in the Americas.
Yeah, absolutely. Oof.
Language is fascinating.
As someone who's part Irish, I'm fascinated.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, hive mind. I love the hive mind and the hive mind pain. And like Annie has just told us that they can feel pain right before her very tragic death. And then we see hers followed by Slim's, followed by Perline getting bitten. And then us going, is she going to die? And then, oh, fuck, she's been turned. And then she's there right next to Cornbread. And it is just like knife through the heart as Sam is just like, guess I'm traumatized. Guess this is it forever. Fucking last call of Delta Slim, in that moment where all we've seen of him is being sarcastic and kind of being a dickhead. But in that moment, for some reason, we see this character who, at this point, we've probably just kind of seen him as like a cowardly drunk.
Yeah, right.
But when he realized that Sammy was in danger, he put his life on the line immediately.
Right.
Can I tell you why I think that is?
Yes. God, tell me everything. Truly, that's why we're here.
Delta Slim is also a griot.
Elaborate, please.
When Delta is talking about his buddy Rice and describing the horrors that happened to him, his lynching and the fact that they cut off his manhood, we can hear what is happening. We hear the shouts of the mob. We hear Rice choking and gasping as he is lynched in the train station.
Mm-hmm.
Because Delta's telling that story, and he's bringing that story past the veil. That is my thoughts on that. And it is Delta who is the one that explains to Sammy the strength of his music.
Mm-hmm.
And it is Delta's voice that we hear at the end of the surreal montage saying, with this here ritual, we heal our people and we be free. That is Delta Slim's voice. Therefore, Delta Slim understood what Sammy was going through, and the only way to do that is because he himself was a griot. And I think the reason that he drinks so much is because he does not want to have that power.
Mm-hmm.
Because if every time he brings up a story, if every time he remembers his buddy Rice or any other mountain of horrors that man has gone through, it is going to replay in his head like it is just happening.
Yeah.
So what else are you going to do? You're going to drink. You're going to shut it off.
That is a richer story arc to me than simply an old drunk who has been through it. Like, no. That's so fucking fascinating. I think he's got that tragic fool energy. I think about specifically like some Shakespeare, like Feste, if played in a particular way, has that tragic fool energy where we're looking to him for the zinger, we're looking to him for the funny line, or whatever quip he may come up with, because he's so smart and he's got the same comeback energy as Stack in terms of that like witticism and then that tragic undercurrent.
Oh yeah. He is traumatized in a way that a whole generation of elder black men have been traumatized by simply surviving in the United States of America.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they cover it with sarcasm, and they cover it with drink, and they cover it in any possible way they can, because it is better than living in that alternative. It is better than having that pain weighing down on your shoulders.
Goddamn Tutu.
You wanted me to talk about it. I'm here to fucking talk, baby.
I know. I fucking love it, and I live for it. We were still kind of a little bit in the vampire world because we got here because we were touching on Delta Slim's choice to sacrifice himself and to give Sammy an attempt to leave and to feed himself to this vampire horde. And we don't, unless I'm mistaken, we don't see him turned.
No, I think he just gets ripped apart.
I think he just gets ripped apart. Which has gotten me a little bit back on the vampire train because I really want to talk about the Choctaw vampire hunters.
God, I love them.
Because you mentioned it before about like the idea that they maybe Remick had tried to do this with them. They cottoned onto it and they were like, no.
They ran him out of town.
They ran him out of town, and they did it in a smart way at daylight because they knew what he was.
Mm-hmm.
I need this second film real bad as well.
Here's the thing. I have a lot of problems with the amount of people who are clamoring for like a Sinners cinematic universe because we've gotten so addicted to stories that just go on and on and on and on and on. Look at Supernatural and its 15 fucking seasons. Look at the goddamn something like that. I don't know. I stopped watching after season 5.
You're right.
Because that's all that it was supposed to be. Fuck you, CW. Anyway, we've gotten addicted to this idea that we need to drag a story out for as long as we can squeeze the money out of it. And sometimes a story just needs to be a story.
Sure.
If you want more Native First Nations like vampire stories, go to your local library.
Yeah.
I can recommend a book called Buffalo Hunter. Hunter. I haven't read it yet. I've heard wonderful things about it. I'm really excited to get my grubby little hands on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my take on everyone who's clamoring for more sequels and more stories. Especially if there's a really weird thing that keeps happening. I wonder why, where folks are really focused on Remick as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly it's all Remick, and no one gives a shit about the twins or Sammy, the protagonists of the movie.
Yeah.
It's weird how that happens. Anyway, so the Choctaw. The first time we see Remick when he drops out of the fucking sky, which proves that he can fly, because we see him do it later. He's beat to hell. He's got a black eye. His face is all cut up. His mouth is all cut to shit because somebody's been beating the brakes off this little fucker. Rightfully so. And that the only reason you're gonna go that hard after a guy like that is if he pulled some shit. So yeah, I think he wandered into the Choctaw, tried to do some shit. They realized immediately, because they're not fucking stupid. And the way they handle it when he ends up with Bert and Joan, the way they try, they do. They tell this woman, you are in danger. God forbid you let this man into your home. And then he sees the clan hood and realizes that there is nothing he can say that will make this white lady listen. And as the sun's going down, he says, God bless, good night. And that's all. That's all she wrote.
Yeah. Also, if you're going to be a member of the clan, you deserve to be eaten by a fucking vampire.
A little bit.
That's a bare minimum.
And the thing that we realize how smart and how crafty Remick is, he doesn't call the Choctaw dirty Injuns until after he sees that clan hood in the hallway. He's trying to plead with them, like, as a man, as a desperate person, like, please God help me. I've been beaten. They took my wife. They killed my wife. And then he realizes that simply begging is not going to be enough. He needs to find that connection. And what is that connection? Bigotry. Whiteness, ladies and gentlemen.
Blech. Let's swing away from whiteness as well we should. As well we should, especially with this film. We had put a pin in Chicago, in the twins story, in... I'm unpinning it. The floor is yours.
Kato, you know, they were switching clothes and running back and forth between the Italians and the Irish.
Yeah. Right.
Like when Mary said you were playing both sides, no, literally.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we have Stack, who is dressed in the what is the ostensibly the Italian the style of things with that fedora hat and his wingtip shoes, and then you've got Stack in his pageboy cap with that high tight collar. Mm-hmm. Very peaky blinders of him.
Very peaky.
But like, I would bet good fucking money those two assholes would switch clothes and run back and forth to sow discord. Yeah. Because that's just the kind of shitbags they are, and I fucking love them for that.
Yes.
Love that for them. I fucking love that. Like, yeah, they're not good men. They have killed and they have stolen shit. But goddamn, they were smart about it.
They really were.
They're fucking soldiers.
Do you think that they got caught and ran out of town? Do you think that they were like, we've done enough damage and we need to leave right now? What made them come home?
I think just with how in tune they are, specifically with each other, and how, especially with how like whip fucking smart Smoke is, I think he realized that the heat was getting too much and they needed to get out. I'm pretty sure Stack would have rode that horse until it dropped.
Yeah.
I love that boy. I love that character. That motherfucker has no impulse control.
That man is dangerous.
That man is dangerous. I love him.
Oh, man.
No, I think I fully believe that Smoke, being like the cool-headed, the level-headed one of the two, was like, nah, this is getting too much. We're towing the line here. We got to bounce.
Yeah. And probably before Capone's men find out, the Irishman finds out.
Yeah. Like I think there was not a rumor, a plot like point going around that people were talking about. And it's like, oh my God, what if they're the reason the St. Valentine's Day massacre happened? Like that was their shit, which is cool. I'm pretty sure that was later in the 30s though.
Right.
Timeline didn't quite map up, but vibes nonetheless.
But I love it when it's like kind of inserted into an historical, like that historical fiction kind of lens where it's like, it could have been them, you don't know.
They could have started. They could have lit the match that started that fire. Who knows?
I feel like because we're talking about their time in the mob, it would be a real good time to jump to one of my like later questions. As two Chicago bitches here yapping on the interwebs, we get Buddy Guy at the end in Chicago in the 90s playing older Sammy at his own club called Perlene's. I just
first of all, Buddy Guy is one of the last living blues legends still alive.
Yep.
I think that man just turned 90, or he will be turning 90 very shortly.
Didn't you see him?
Twice. Oof. He came to my area, to one of the big local theaters in my little town, and it was after like my partner and I had seen Sinners like 4 fucking times, and we realized that he was going to be here and said immediately.
Yes.
Mr. Guy also does a residency at his bar in Chicago called Buddy Guy's Legends. First of all, the food there is fucking great.
Amazing.
Delicious Southern home cooking. Solid cornbread, great mac and cheese. Go for it, kids. But he does a residency there every January. So my partner and I braved the cold, got standing room only seats to see this man play. Opener was some really wonderful local blues talent, and then Buddy came out and was just fucking electric. That man is hilarious. Wow. He is still sharp as a fucking tack at almost 90 years old. And I had the pleasure of talking with him after the show.
Oh God, what a dream.
That's
so fucking great.
Hilarious and a little dirty. He's kind of a dirty old man, and I love him. But he was talking about the ins and outs of being a sharecropper's son, and I talked to him about my dad and how my dad grew up in Mississippi, and he was just pleased as punch. It's a family operation because his son Greg is also a guitar man and was running around doing tech stuff. His grandkids were running the fucking registers.
Wow.
When I went in and we found our little tickets and our little lanyards. And then when I walked up to get my merch later, it's like, yeah, no, I hope you liked it. My granddad. It's like, oh my God, this is a fucking family joint.
This is your grandpa.
Oh my God, that's your grandpa. But the reason from the interviews that I've seen and the stuff that I've read, Buddy accepted this because he made a promise to Muddy Waters that he was going to keep the blues alive and well. And he's still fucking going. And I think that man's going to go until he drops, which hopefully will be don't take any unnecessary journeys.
I had questions and thoughts, and now I'm just living in the reverie of that. Where is Buddy Guy's Legends? Where is that bar?
Oh God, I cannot remember the street.
Or if you have a neighborhood just for the Chicagoans watching, I see a few of them. Happy birthday, Cozy Caffeinated.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Buddy Guy's Legends is over on Wabash.
Excellent. So if you're in Chicago,
in Chicago,
there's a shot of it now. We've got Stack and we've got Buddy Guy playing the guitar. Guitar.
He is a self-taught guitar man too.
I love this whole storyline of at the end they're like, no, that's not Charlie Payne's guitar. What are you talking about? That whole...
Nah, that's our daddy's guitar.
That's our daddy's guitar. And it's
that son of a bitch.
Oh yeah, this whole buildup of it, poor Sammy, after all of that, that's what he's like, what?
What? Yeah. Of course it was fucking Stack that told him that.
Yeah, of course.
Of course it was fucking Stack.
Yeah, he
Smoke the one had to come in and crush his dreams. Boy, are you crazy?
No, it makes me go back through everything, and I'm like, I know Stack is a quick talker, and we see it with Smoke too, but I know Stack is such a quick talker. I'm like, how many lies has this man told throughout this movie? Can we go back and track his lies?
But yeah, that final scene, and the thing that will stick with me, one of the many things that will stick with me about this movie, is the last time I've seen my brother, the last time I saw the sun. And Sammy before that saying, in spite of everything that happened, in spite of how it traumatized me before the sun went down, that was the best night. That was the best day of my life. In spite of the pain and the trauma and losing everything, it was still a tentpole moment for that young kid, and something that he carried with him for the rest of his fucking life.
Right. At the very, very end, after the final credits, there is a scene with young Sammy in the church playing the guitar, singing This Little Light of Mine, shot at a low angle. I had not seen that scene before because I got to the end credits and I don't know if it just wasn't there or what. But that scene coming after that end credit scene. This movie is so cyclical, and the fact that it's in the church, I found fascinating, and the fact that he's singing This Little Light of Mine. Do you have thoughts about that?
I mean, I don't think Coogler just does anything just because.
No, he doesn't.
But he is singing This Little Light of Mine, but it is his own rendition of it. On the soundtrack, you can hear, in the soundtrack and at the very beginning of the movie, when Sammy comes back to the church, you can hear the choir singing it in that very traditional black gospel style. And then when Sammy does it, he's using his guitar and that beautiful slide. And it's that juxtaposition of the blues that he loves and the gospel music that he's grown up with. And like gospel for me personally, that's still something I listen to. I don't really consider myself Christian anymore. I've kind of deconstructed all of that, but the gospel music is still going to be there. The gospel music is still something that speaks to my soul and always will. And I think that's just that beautiful moment of the message of the music, the preaching of the music might not be there anymore, but the music is still there. And the music will still speak to him no matter what.
It's like music is the true faith and the true belief rather than the filter of religion.
Because he didn't need the full choir. He didn't need the 1 Corinthians that Daddy was trying to get him to go over. He just needed his guitar and that church.
God damn. I think this would be a really...
Hi, Zach!
Hi, Zach. Hi, everybody.
That's my best friend.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Ian. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming in. We were just going to start opening up questions from the crowd. We've got a few coming in as we're getting to the end of our time, which we could do another 2 hours if you wanted.
I mean, we can do another, apparently there's somebody in here that wants us to do a fucking series on this. So like, if you want me to come back, I'll come back.
Come back. Yeah. Definitely put a pin in that because that would be really fun. So we had a question from Torben earlier when we were talking about Annie, and we were talking about Annie and Smoke's baby. Do you agree that perhaps they did not spare the child because she had already called in all her favors to protect the twins?
That's a really interesting possibility.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a possibility, but I'm sticking to my guns on the idea that like there are some things that even magic can't fix.
Right. I'm in more of that camp as well, and I was very sold on it, especially when Smoke did have that line about like, do you have magic that could save my brother? You know. Another one from Torben. Vampirism is often portrayed as the loss of one's humanity. How do you feel about the balance the sinner's vampires strike between the animalistic, predator eyes, dark glinting ferocity, and the human and humanity that they still retain? For example, Stack and Mary's visit at the end, and the wanting the plan for Smoke to join them and their perceived freedom, and Smoke and Stack both sparing each other. I'll add that in there as well. That one's from me.
I mean, it's the fact that because the moment that Mary and Stack break free is the moment they realize they're going to lose Annie.
Right.
You see them run off after she's killed.
Right.
And I think that speaks to the power of the love in the community that they all have together. It's the notion that even with all of Remic's power and his ability to crush a soul into submission, he still couldn't keep that hold on Stack and Mary when it comes to dealing with the ones that they love.
Yeah. Oof. Torben wanted to have a little bit of context for the previous question regarding sparing the child. For context in my question, my limited knowledge of voodoo, hoodoo, shamanism has me of the opinion that their magics are transactional. If you perform the rites and make offerings, but the result is never guaranteed, as the spirit or entity may not need or want what you offer at that time, and in some cases where they have already provided for you, will withhold out of spite for you asking for too much.
Mm-hmm. As someone who has been doing a lot of research on hoodoo and voodoo, and who does focus on like ancestor veneration, which is another part of hoodoo, there isn't precisely a pantheon, because a lot of hoodoo, you will still turn to the Bible, you'll turn to the Song of Solomon, you'll turn to the Psalms, that kind of thing. But yeah, it is a give and take. It is, you are expected to leave tobacco, leave whiskey, leave cigarettes for the ancestors, for the spirits that you are venerating to. And at the end of the day, yeah, sometimes you're just not going to get what you want. Yeah. Because either they don't think you're ready for it, you haven't spoken to them in the way that's going to call them appropriately, or yeah, sometimes they're just like, nah, not today.
Sorry. Try again.
Sorry.
All right. From Jenga. Hi, Jenga. We've got, I think, a few questions coming in from Jenga. One of the behind-the-scenes aspects of this film, which is so astounding, was how he stuck to his guns and got the film funded while maintaining first profit earnings and full rights after 25 years, a complete industry anomaly even for a heavyweight. What other parts of his filmmaking do you believe will become part of his great and continued legacy?
I mean, just from a screenwriting standpoint, the one thing that I will always be able to say about Ryan Coogler is he will give us a compelling fucking villain. They will be a villain. They will be a monster. But there will be a moment of, he's got a point.
Right. Yes. Right.
Look at Killmonger. Mm-hmm. Look at Namor. Specifically, like, Killmonger was the first like Coogler villain that captured my heart, because it's that moment of what is the saying? It's like the child who is locked out of the village will burn that village down to feel some kind of warmth.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely no right to come in and destroy a culture like that out of spite and out of anger, but at the same time they abandoned him. Mm-hmm. He was abandoned. He was left behind.
Well, there has to be a villain origin story, right? It can't just be bad for bad's sake.
Oh yeah.
There has to be a fucking reason. Otherwise, we don't empathize and we don't believe a villain.
And Remick, I mean, there's a reason why I vibe so hard with the Irish. I've had, you fucking Hannah, because the Irish were not always white. At some point, the culture was willing to set aside what they had, their own morals, their own souls, for the promise of safety.
Yeah.
But there was a point in time where the Irish, it was no dogs, no black, no Irish.
Yep.
One of the I cannot remember her name, but she was one of the prominent leaders of the Irish Republican Army, was given a key to the city of New York and gave it to the Black Panther Party. Mm-hmm. Like, the fight for Irish independence was directly inspired by the fight for Black civil rights.
Right.
We are one and the same in so many ways. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it was so easy to drive a wedge between our cultures will never not hurt me. Hurt my heart.
And yet Coogler did this film.
He showed
out a little bit.
Yeah, he showed the way in which these cultures and the trauma they have endured at the hands of colonialism are so similar. Mm-hmm. The difference is one of them was able to disappear into the dominant culture.
Yep.
The other, there's no way. Like,
right.
I'm not going to pass for white. My father's not going to pass for white. Mm-hmm. we're never going to be able to vanish like that. We're never going to be able to assimilate in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And in spite of the fact that Remick surely was traumatized by what happened to him between the occupation of the English and his turning, that pain does not give him the right to visit that on anyone else.
Right. Exactly.
He is still a monster. Bernadette Devlin. Yeah, thank you, Torben.
It's called Fidel Castro in a miniskirt.
She's a badass.
Wow. Fucking incredible. From Bleak, what is it about Coogler's films, especially Black Panther and Sinners, that have made them such a pop culture phenomenon as opposed to any other number of films that celebrate any specific culture? What is his magic touch?
Even with Black Panther being such a fantastical, quote unquote, comic book movie, those characters were human at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
The king of Wakanda is still human. He still gets tongue-tied when faced with the love of his life.
Right.
Killmonger was a scared, angry young man who let that anger drive him into becoming a monster.
Mm-hmm.
He can build these beautiful, fantastical worlds, these fantastical, these beautiful universes, this beautiful idea of how magic works in the world of Sinners. But at the end of the day, it will always be those characters, those humans that he's written this story around.
I think, yeah, it goes back to the, like, you have to be able to empathize with a villain. You have to be able to understand where they got where they are. Otherwise,
what's the point?
It doesn't have the, yeah. Otherwise, we're here. A niche question from Bleak. Where Wallace at? I don't know what it meant, but he just told me he's smiling right now. No reply? Okay, moving on.
That's the reply. That's the reply.
Wow.
That's the reply he's getting. He's getting the slow blink.
Honestly. From Jenga, some critics of the film found the multicultural musical montage to be, quote, corny or at least unexpected for something in a horror genre. How did you two resonate with the confluence of this scene, and did you find it essential?
It was essential because, yes, it's a horror movie. The amount of songs in this fucking movie also makes it a goddamn musical.
Yes,
Fight me. It's a musical.
It's a fucking
musical. Fucking musical. It's a horror vampire musical.
Exactly.
Fuck off.
Exactly what we needed.
Exactly what we needed. And again, I think it comes back to the idea that, like, some people just aren't going to get it.
Yep.
At the end of the day, if you are not willing to suspend your disbelief and go along for the ride, like, yeah, it's going to be corny. Because you didn't buy in. You got to buy into this shit sometimes.
Fucking buy in.
Fucking buy in. Zach? Homie? We talked about this.
Yep. We just had this whole conversation.
I
was going to say that you have to buy in even if something isn't for you. If you are watching the story and you are along for the ride, you have to buy in. The story may not be for you, but you need to buy in if you're going to be part of the conversation around it and part of the critique and the analysis of it. You do have to buy in a bit.
And again, they tell us exactly what this movie is and what the soul of this movie is in the prologue. They tell us about the people who weave magic through music.
Yep.
Music is the soul and heart of this movie. Mr. Coogler developed this movie because he had an uncle who so loved the blues and passed that love along to him.
Yep.
If you are not able to open your heart to the idea of music being that integral to a culture, I pity you. I really do.
Bottom line. One from Cozy and Caffeinated, aka Lavender Vixen. I'm gonna do a quick. Hold on. It doesn't have to do with the film. Just a lovely question. What's been a really good day you've had? Like, name a really good day.
I mean, yesterday I got to play D&D with some of my favorite people.
Was Zach one of them?
It was Zach. Zach's my DM, and I love him. He's my homie.
I want to play with this here, Zach. You hear that, Zach? You hear that, Zach? I want to play with you, buddy. I want to do D&D with you, buddy.
Zach, I'm dragging you onto Folk and Myth one way or another, homie. Yeah, no, Zach's my G. Zach's my homie. I love the stories we create together. I love that whole fucking table. They're some of my favorite humans. And it makes me really happy that I get to do that every Wednesday because it's the kick in the ass that I need to get through the rest of the fuck ass week.
Yeah. We need as many of those as we can get. Good God. Okay, I believe that's all of our audience questions, unless something else came in that I didn't see. Nope. So many things.
Ask Laura how traumatizing D&D is with me. Ooh. So traumatizing.
I already got cozies. Thank you, though.
So traumatizing. I love it so much.
I cannot wait to play with Zach and Laura. I'm inviting myself. Anyway, this isn't about me. We had one more question. Okay. Would you say Remek's character is sort of a mirror to white society? The biggest evil is the manipulation, not the outright violence.
Yes. Without question. Remek is the mirror that a lot of people don't want to see. It is, he went for polite, he went for empathetic, he went for playing up on Mary's pain when she tried to come out and like figure out what the deal was.
Mm-hmm.
Torben, you're locked the fuck in, homie. I like you.
We're a big fan.
Torben's fucking great.
Yep. Follow up.
But yeah,
sorry. Would you agree that the point was totally lost on the audience that haven't lived that long? I wouldn't agree that it's lost on the people that haven't lived that long. I think it does point it out. I think it does speak to it. I think we're having a lot of conversations around this in particular right now. Lived that
Remek
life.
is a centrist.
Remek is a centrist. Sorry. Torben, fucking fat fingers on a small keyboard. Would you agree that the point was not totally lost on the audience that haven't lived that life?
I mean, there was a fair amount of people that I saw running their mouths on the internet who's like, I didn't get it. But we are also living in a literary crisis right now. So people are dumb.
Read some books. Read some books.
Read some books, kids.
I have a
reading is what?
Fundamental. Wow, we're gay. I have a question for you before we get into my favorite little fundamental. My little section that I like to call Inside the Actors Studio or Inside the Bestie Friends Studio.
Wait. I'm sorry. Torben, here's the thing. The amount of people that I've seen that think Remek is, I do think Remek is tragic. I think it is tragic that he was forced to give up his culture and his connection to his people. I think that is a tragedy in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Cool motive, still murder.
Yep. Yes, exactly. You don't get to do that now. It's not the hurt people. No. Don't get to do that. Okay, one last question from Jenga, and then I'll ask my additional question before we get into Inside the Actors Studio.
I will keep going, guys. I will. I really will.
I know. I really will let this continue. We're gonna have Laura back on. Do not fret, my friends. We will probably unpack Sinners even more. Did you say that y'all would reflect on which awards Sinners was nominated for, won, or should have won?
Sinners should have swept the Oscars.
Yes, 100%. There's no fucking question.
Sinners should have swept the Oscars. Between the cinematography, between the writing, between the acting, the fact that Michael B. Jordan played essentially 3 separate characters, the fact that Wumi Masako gave such a grounded, beautiful, and tender performance. The soundtrack alone, like, I'm glad Ludwig got his flowers. The fact that Delroy Lindo did not walk away with his award,
Bullshit.
fucking criminal. fucking criminal. After the monologue about his buddy Rice, that should have been the clincher.
100%. And like, I fucking hate award season. I really don't hold any stock with it. The fact that Sinners was nominated for so much was heartening in and of itself, that it won so much, but the fact that it didn't sweep spoke even more to fucking racism.
Yeah, no, it's when there is no white savior, it makes the Academy really uncomfortable. That has been proven time and time again.
Fuck. Okay, we're gonna get into winding down this here rodeo. My question outside of the Inside the Actor Studio questions is, what are you reading right now? Is there a book that you're reading or listening to that you're really, really into, or podcast or something?
So kids, balance in all things. So what I'm reading right now is Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela Y. Davis. And also the Fae Fever series, Erin Marie Moning. because
I knew some shit like this. I knew
because I am expanding my mind and ready and willing and loving figuring out the ways in which capitalism and colonialism have us all the way fucked up. And sometimes I just need some fairy smut. Sometimes I just need some fairy smut.
You need a
balance in all things, kids.
Balance in all things. The seriousness with which you delivered that dead ass to camera was like,
Torben, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Aww,
God, I love her.
Queen.
Fucking love her.
Fucking brilliant. Okay. Inside the Actor Studio, inside the Besties Studio. This is going to be, the first two questions are maybe going to be a little bit hard just because you don't like horror, but I want to frame it as, it doesn't have to be horror films. It could be horror games. It could be consumption
like horror
of
games either.
Well, but you play vampires.
I can't.
Okay. Well, do you have a favorite horror trope? When you invite your friend who hates horror on the horror talk show.
Listen. There are, I was talking to Kato about this earlier. There are two horror movies that I have been able to sit through. One of them, this one is technically a fucking musical, so I'm fine. The other one is The Witch.
Oh,
the Vivitch.
Are you for real? Wait, did you sit through Nosferatu?
Yeah.
Okay, well that counts too. You get 3.
I love Nosferatu.
Great.
But it's also a vampire movie.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so here's my trope. My trope is good for her.
I love a good for her.
That's The Witch. The Witch is good for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she goes crazy. Yeah, her family ends up dead. But at the end of the day, she could still levitate in the trees with her witch coven.
You know what? Good for her.
Good for her.
Okay, so what is
the Vavitch?
The Vavitch. What is your least favorite horror trope?
The black guy that dies at the first 15 minutes of the fucking movie. Fuck off. Fuck right off with that shit. The Robert Eggers version, my friend. I love that man. The new one. It's delightful. And by delightful, I mean beautiful. The color palette, delicious.
I just want to put the color palettes of Sinners and Nosferatu right next to each other, and I just want to live right.
I want to rub my face all in it.
Like a little kitty. If you were in a horror film, what would your role be?
Here's the thing. Kato, I'm black.
Yeah.
The way I have to turn my brain off when I'm playing horror TTRPGs, because no, I'm not gonna investigate the weird noise in the basement. We're gonna fucking leave. Are you crazy? No.
This is the same thing.
I'm the one. No, I'm the one that leaves 5 minutes in because shit got weird and I want to go home. I'm the bitch that survives by being too fucking paranoid for my own good. That's who I fucking am.
Yep, I get it. Ava has said the exact same thing to me in many iterations of games. It was like, absolutely fucking not. But for the interest of storytelling, here's what I'm going to do.
First reaction, fuck no. For the plot, yeah, let's do it.
Great. As always, we appreciate you with your support, your questions, your curiosity, our wonderful guest, Laura. We appreciate everybody here that's gotten to be a part of this. You can use the link in the chat now if you want to help us keep the lights on through a donation or by joining our Patreon. We are going to raid our own Crit Hit Chronicles. And so, yeah, stick around, show them some love. Tell them where you came from. You can, if you are subscribed to our channel, I believe you can use our little raid emojis there, copy paste them in, and we will see you. For now, we seal the crypt back up on Sinners. Good night.